Hello everyone and welcome to Veterans in Crisis podcast. Today we have Tom Cuthbertson. Tom is a veteran of 2 para, but he also works for the NHS and he does a lot of stuff for veterans in Sunderland. You alright, Tom?
Yeah, spot on, cheers.
I know you're a bit nervous and I know it's just took you ages to sort the app out to get it all up and running, but you know, it's just a conversation, mate, so there's nothing to worry about. So
Right.
what we'll normally do is probably start off with you growing up. Are you from Sunderland?
Yes, mate. From Pennywell.
Alright, so what made you want to join the forces then?
Just something I always wanted to do, from leaving school. I just thought, I always wanted to join the Paras for some reason. I don't know why. None of my family had been in the army, so I was the first, really. So
Was it? I don't know how old you are, but was it that documentary? Because when I was a kid, there was a documentary about the Paras. Was it that?
It is that I. I'm 51, but it is that I.
Alright, well, to be honest, that's what I thought when I watched that documentary. But when I went to the careers office, he said you're too brainy, so you just have to join the light infantry instead.
Yeah, they tell me I was too little and too skinny. You have to be super fit for the Paras, so forget that one. And I was like, all right, that made us more determined, to be honest. So
that's a big thing, isn't it? For determination, somebody saying you cannot do it.
that's right. Me mate's dad was the same. He was like, the Paras. He went, you got no chance with the Paras. He went, you're too little. He says, you're tiny, man. He says, there's no on you. He says, you'll never pass that. And that stuck in my mind as well. And I was thinking, when somebody tells us I cannot. And I was a bit of a lad at school, if you like, as well. So I was brought up in Pennywell and stuff like that. So we weren't really, you had to be rough and tough, if you like, I think. So Paras was might have been little and skinny, but I thought, well, I want something difficult, you know what I mean? A challenge.
Yeah. So how old were you when you joined?
18.
Aye. And did you have a job beforehand?
I was doing refrigeration engineering. I went to Newcastle College and did about 2.5 years or something doing refrigeration engineering. Well, I left school at 15 and did that. And then I joined the TA at Purbright down. I joined the TA and I went down there for a couple of times, up and down, and I thought I'm going to join the Paras. So that was the TA was, my mate was in the TA down there in Purbright, and he says, join the TA. He says, it's great and that. And I was only there for 6 months. I went down a couple of times and I ended up enrolling for the Paras and doing that. So, but I had a couple of jobs, like I said, TA was only for a short period, but the refrigeration engineering was for about 2.5 years, something like that, maybe. It's kind of apprenticeship.
I only had a job for about 4 months, I think it was, because I joined when I was 16. So I'd got a job as soon as I left school, and then I went in the army. I think I left school in May, and I went to the army in September. But because I was a junior, but when I spoke to lads later on who had joined as adults and had worked proper jobs, and it's a massive change, isn't it? For me, I went straight from school, so I'd had sort of people telling us what to do anyway, Aye,
I know what you mean. We went down to Oxford, me and my mate, whose father was saying that I would never pass the Paras. Me and my mate went down to Oxford, and we had jobs down in Oxford for a couple of months, and we were floating around. We were only 17 when I left the refrigeration. I was only a kid, and I came back home and I thought, no, this is one in the army, because I thought there was nothing to do really, so I had a couple of daft little jobs, but the army was something I always wanted to do,
Brilliant. So do you want to go through your leaving home, going at your training and that? I mean, it's obviously a shock to the system, isn't it?
It is. I joined the army at such a young age, not 18 and that, and only a kid, a little skinny, wet kid and that, and having new experience and like that, really life experience, and that it's hard, isn't it? And
Yes.
to get to go and at the time there was no computers, no mobile phones. You were just, you know, set on a train with your tickets, and that was it. You know, so and you were down the country, and that, you know, like down the bottom of the country. The kids now, I think, come up to Catterick and that, and they did some of the training up now and that. And I only wish I'd had that when I was a kid with mobile phones. And that
It's crazy, you know. It's crazy, man. I think like you didn't really get much contact with the outside world for the first 6 weeks, and then you got your bit leave, didn't you?
Oh, that was right. Your basic army training, wasn't it? And then they just based you and treated you like as if you were just a total, you know, as if you shouldn't be there for the first time, like you said, for the first couple of months for your basic training, and then you got your leave. So it was unusual, I think, to be so homesick and that really bad. I think when I was a kid, like
that really affected me. Like homesickness really affected us. I think. For the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was thinking, nah, I'm not stopping. But just like you, I've got a brother and other family members were saying, 6 weeks he'll be out. No way we'll be able to handle that. And that's what kept us in. You know, it's not really a good idea, is it? Like just for your pride to go through torture like that. But you know, I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want the people to say, I told you so. Knew he wouldn't do it.
You're right. It's difficult, like, isn't it? Because you've got all that training, all, you know, everything what they put you through, and then you don't know if you're going to pass it there. You don't know if you're going to.
Right. I mean, the screws are good, aren't they? Because they keep you guessing all the way to the final. Even I remember lining up for the passing out parade, and they're saying, "You're not passed yet." You know what I mean? You can still think, and it's psychological, man.
Well, in Detmoor Para, they had your platoon pictures on the wall, and they would they put question marks and dots on people's heads. And that. And the ones that left, the ones that fell, they used to scribble their faces in black marker pen, and that was on the wall in the corridor, and you could see this black faces getting scribbled out as you start off with about 60 or 70 faces on this big long picture, and it's all of a sudden there's. Well, you know yourself, you don't have a few, haven't you?
Well, we had the same thing with the black faces, but we never had question marks. I must have done right in that if they put a question mark.
Some had question marks, some had dots, some had 2 dots, and it was all psychological. We were like, "What's 2 dots? What does a question mark mean? What does?" Some of them were like it was like their codes. What they used to do, they had bets and that.
It is psychological, and it is torture, but it is a good learning thing, you know. You know, war's not a good thing. You know, it's horrible, and the stuff you're gonna have to do is horrible. And these are the little tricks that they train you to do, isn't it?
That's right. It's just all psychological, all to get your mind, isn't it? To try and break you.
I tell you what used to really do me in is if you did a long run, and then the 4-tonner would be there at the end, and you'd run up there and they'd drive away. You think, oh man, and they're like, no, 4-tonner's been blew up. You've got to run further and further, man. I remember the first time it happening and thinking, that's not fair. That you know what I mean? But that's what would happen in war, isn't it?
Brutal, isn't it?
Aye.
I remember I was on an exercise once in Salisbury Plain on our training, and it was must have been 30 degrees heat. Everybody was dropping like flies and that, and they were we did a 10-mile tab or something, full kit, full, everything, carrying all the weight, and we got to the end, and they stood there with the 4-tonners, and they had all the containers out and everything, and the Walls ice cream tubs out with the Walls thingies on. We were like, Walls ice cream, and we were all looking like a band, man. We were all dropping like flies, all standing there, stand up, and that we were thinking, oh, and they went, right, who wants ice cream? And we were like, oh, great, this ice cream in the middle of Salisbury in the heat. And we were and everybody put their hands up, and it was only margarine, wasn't it? Margarine. Right. Open your mouth everybody's eating margarine. Oh. It was brutal. Like, thinking I'm going to get an ice cream and it was margarine. Or cookies.
Ah, fucking class. I tell you what, we did once, we were on exercise in Germany, me and my mate. We swapped the, you know, the soapy water in the urn to wash your plates with. We swapped that round with the tea, right? And it was pitch black. And everyone's got, this tea's fucking horrible. It tastes like soapy water. And everyone's washing the dishes in the tea. It's class, like. I was talking to my pal, like, we're still mates now, like, and I was talking about it the other day to him, like, that's what reminded us. It was so funny, like, everyone walking around going, it's fucking horrible, it's tea. Yeah, class. Yeah, what was P Company like then? Because, oh, you've disappeared.
Oh,
you're back one, You're all right. What was P Company like?
P Company, brutal, obviously you'd expect it to be, I think, wouldn't you? It was pretty rigorous, like, it was brutal.
I've had a couple of paras on doing this, and they said, like, it's fucking really hard, like, really hard.
Brutal. I think there was about 13 of us passed, I think, altogether. Out like 13 of us out of, there must have been about 70, I think, on it, because there've been, like, retrainers, platoons in as well. Like, you know, the ones who have been injured off the last ones, then come and do it and all. And, but we may be little, I think we may be like a short arse, I think it's harder. You know, different if you're a big lad, and I think if you've got big long legs, maybe a little stumpy, little short legs. My 10 miles were like runs. I was doing 10-mile runs, not the same as yourself, because you're little as well, aren't you, John?
I had to run when they were just walking. I had to run to keep in step.
That's what I was doing. I was running, thinking, I'm running all the way. I'm just doing a 10-mile run. I'm not walking.
I always remember there's always somebody get tall at the front and all. Always somebody really tall at the front, man. Fucking nightmare.
Isn't it? And it's hard. I mean, when we did our training, I mean, I don't want to sound as if it's different now and all that, because it's, you know, it's still brutal now to this day. But back in the day, though, like in the 80s when I did mine, in '88, you went to Wales, did the Wales phase. You went to you did like Aldershot, 2 or 3 days in Aldershot, then you went and did the Wales phase, and so in the Wales you went bash it up, and you did like the 17 miler, the speed march, what was it, and the stretcher race. It was brutal. It was like just the penny fan, that, and the penny fan, and it's the same as what the Sasti, I think, the same. It's the same, like, part of it's the same selection, I think, selection route. And you get at the top of penny fan and you think you're at the top. I don't know if you've done it before, like, isn't it?
I've done it,
and then you see Jacob's ladder and you think, no, you're like, even.
It's another psychological thing, isn't it?
You think, oh, no, you get through the clouds and you think, is that not the top? And you're like, no, and so that's Jacob's ladder. And you're like, Jacob's ladder? You're having a laugh.
We never did the stretcher race, but the paras I've had on here said that's really hard, like.
It is, stretcher race, log race and all. Log race is hard.
Your log race, you have like handles, didn't you, on rope?
On the rope, aye.
On the one I did, you used to just get on your shoulder, and obviously being small, at the front, it felt like I was carrying the whole log myself.
Did it? Aye.
I always tried to get in the middle, so I'd just be like that, as if I was holding it.
Well, that's what I was like with the stretcher. I found the stretcher the easiest because I was the littlest among all the big lads, and I was trying to grab the weight to help them. Because the stretcher was off me, and I was like, it was bouncing on my shoulder, and I would be like, and I would think, I'm not even holding this. I'm trying to pull it down. But I'm probably making it worse for the person in front. Did you get through training without any injuries then? Injuries? I didn't have any injuries, no. You're lucky, Dan, because there must be hundreds of people get injured doing that. There is. I think I was very lucky. I think, like, to be fair, like, I think I I was mega fit though. I was fit as a lob.
Aye.
You know, I got to go through. Like I didn't have knee, but it is it's hard. Like you know, obviously it's not. There's loads of people have the injuries now. Like, I never ever went to the med centre now for now.
No?
Never. Nah,
You would be
never.
lucky there, then. So, what year did you pass out?
19. I joined 88. Passed out 99.
Where did you go from there then? From training?
I went on the shot with 2 para, and I went to A Company 3 platoon, and at the time Bob Parry was on the Challenge Annika. I don't know if you remember that show.
I remember
Annika Rice.
Aye.
Challenge Annika. It was the forces about. There was a you know, like it was a race with Annika Rice and that. It was like, and Bob Parry was my platoon sergeant. We called him Shiny Bob because he was always immaculate. He was fit as a lop, immaculately dressed, mega fit platoon sergeant, and he was on that TV show. And when I passed out, I ended up going into his platoon, 3 platoon. They call it the famous platoon, 3 platoon. And I've shared a couple of photos before in the past. There was in A Company 3 platoon. It's like with the you know, with the colours, with the port, you know, with the drums and all that, if you like.
Aye.
Drums and the standards and that. And that was like our 3 platoon photo. It was and they were saying, oh, famous 3 platoon. It was called the alley platoon. They called it. Like when I joined, they were like, oh, it's the alley platoon. That. They were like, and I don't know how I went there, but that's where they put us. And
did you enjoy it?
It was kind of high. It was good there. I was only in there for about a year or so, a year and a half or something. And I went to wear machine guns. I went and did the machine gun corner and did. There was quite a few of us on machine guns. To be fair, like on the corner, they only wanted about 6 people or something like that, maybe. And it was a hard corner, like to be honest. And but I enjoyed it, like. That's where I joined that. So I went to machine guns, I thought, like. And
where did you get posted?
Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland for 6 months. County Tyrone, County Fermanagh.
Yeah, I was there.
Where? Aye.
I was in Omagh.
Right.
I did. I was there in year 88 to 89. No, would have been 87. So I passed out in August, and I went there in September 87, and I left in January 89. Did
you? Right, aye. Yeah, aye. We were. I think we were there.
You can tell we're old, can't you? You can tell we're old. We can't remember any dates.
I can't remember dates. I cannot, honestly. Honestly, my mates tell me they can't remember. I can't. Sorry, I can't remember.
My mate Finn, if I ever need to know anything about the army, I phone him up and say, what happened there? Like, and he remembers everything. Like, I can't remember.
I can't understand people that remember everything. Every little, like, oh, can you remember this? I'm like, God, nah. Like, you're joking. I can't remember, honestly.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird that some people's good. I mean, I remember people's faces. I can never remember names. Never, ever.
I'm good with faces, like, funny enough. Like, I'm dyslexic anyway, so I've got this special trait, I think, like, where I can remember, like you say, little things, trivial things.
You just cannot spell.
Like, I just cannot read and write.
Yeah, I just had some lads on last week that run a thing called Fighting Minds in Sunderland, and they deal with dyslexia and stuff for veterans.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. It's at Grangetown.
Oh, right, is it?
You know where there's like a plant hire place. I can't remember what it's called. Something.
There is you know
what I mean. Directly opposite there.
Is it? Right, I'll have to have a look at that.
If you have a look at last week's podcast on YouTube, it's got all the contact details on.
Is it? Right, I did my paramedic course 10 years ago, and the university picked us up on it. Says, oh, this is you're dyslexic. They sent me from Malaysia testers, because my essays that were all like, they were like jumbled a little bit, and they were like, this is have you, and they said, would you mind getting tested for dyslexia? I went, oh, I need what? And this woman came up from Leeds on the train, and I was bag of nerves, and I was like, look, listen, I said to the boss, I'm embarrassed by this, mind. I just didn't tell anybody, mind, because I'm dyslexic. I said, because she did, it was a 2.5 hour test, 3 hour test maybe. And she says, oh, you're dyslexic. She went, surprised you went through all the way through life. And I said, I've always known I've been like struggled with stuff. And she went, did you struggle at school? I went, no, I really struggled at school. I hated school. I said, I was always in trouble at school because I just hated it. It was always like scrapping, this, that, and the other, getting a thick lug, teachers grabbing my ears, and my ear would be bleeding, nipping us with my ear. But, you know, and Pennywell at school, that was I wasn't kept bad at school, you know what I mean? But I was like, I wasn't a good role model student. But the wifey at this Leeds place, she says to us, oh, you've got dyslexia. She went, and I says, look, I'm embarrassed. I'm not going to tell anybody mine in the school, because in university, because it's embarrassing. She went, no, it's not embarrassing. She went, it's something you should be proud of. And I was like, proud of being dyslexia. I said, I thought dyslexia was like, you know, you had to be like, you know, you were like solid in that. And she went, no, she went, man, she says, some of the richest, brainiest people on the planet are dyslexic. And she spent half an hour with us sitting, trying to reassure us, because I was like, I wasn't upset, but I was like shocked. And she was like, she went, word is, she went, Richard Branson, Angelina Jolie. She gave us a list of names. She went Bill Gates, you know, she Tom Cruise. She went all dyslexic. She went all done well for themselves. Obviously, she went. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And she went. Do you know how I knew you were dyslexic? I went. How? She went. I knew when you walked in. I went. You knew how? She went. When you walked in, you sat down. I give you a pen. She went, the first thing you did was use your left hand. She went, you left-handed. I went, aye. She went, it's one of the traits of being dyslexic.
Is it?
Left-handed people, aye. She went, you'll find that she went, but getting back to it again, she went, you'll find the most cleverest, intelligent people. She went, I'm not just saying it because I'm testing you. She went, but Alexander, dyslexic over left-handers. She went, it's one of the common traits. She went, and it's not something you should be like ashamed of. But I was getting ashamed, you know. I wasn't want to tell anybody in the room. I was like, look, keep it quiet, mind. And she was like, spent half an hour trying to like say to us like, look, you want to go in there and be proud? And she went, I wish I was. She actually said to us, she went, I wish I was as clever as what you are. She went, because she went, it's a thing it's like thingy what you've got, like it's a gift. She went, it's not like something like she'd be ashamed of. So it's like a gift. I went, a gift being like that.
You've managed to get through life quite well with it, mate.
I know. I was at the back of things. If there was ever a meeting or like classroom, I just got at the back of the class in the corner of me, like, and just sit out the way and just twiddle with something and just, you know what I mean? I would never be paying attention. I'd be like nervous, sit out the way, and just like, I'd pretend I'm listening, but I wouldn't be, do you know what I mean? I'd be like a bag of nerves. So I always knew that there was something like not right.
Well, get onto that fighting mind. So have a crack with them. They might be able to do something with you. No. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that they're in Sunderland.
Isn't it? All right, fighting minds, all right? So, no, that's good, like, isn't it?
Just check it out on last week's podcast. So, right. When you were in Para, did you get anywhere that you thought was fucking really spot on or really shit?
Kenya.
Aye.
Kenya.
Spot on or shit?
Spot on.
Aye.
We were Spearhead Battalion in Kenya. We were on rapid reaction for a year, but they were kit packed. And I don't know if you've ever been on Spearhead before, but your kit's in a container, as long as a three-piece, if you like, in a big, like MF4 box, I think they're called.
Aye.
Massive long, containers, and your kit's all in there, packed and it's sealed. it gets proper strapped and everything and signed, and the sheets on the outside of it, and it's got a list, a checklist. There must be about 100 and odd items on it, like boot polish, laces and all that, carry on, pencils on both, sharpening on both ends, and there was, like I said, this list. You had to have boots, all your kit. It was all, and that kit that was packed for a year. And every month you'd get it out and check the list, check make sure everything was still the same, and put it back in the store. And we were on that for a year. And then when the Gulf War was on, they sent us to Kenya because we were spearhead, and all our kit was still packed. We went to Kenya and we were doing jungle training, desert training, when the war was on, with the Sassnet, doing jungle training and stuff. And I was in machine guns at the time. And but the jungle training and everything was, I wouldn't say the jungle training was not good. Like, I didn't like that. Like,
No.
I did the desert training, did all the firing, all the weapons and everything. I did skydiving with the Red Devils on my R&R in Kenya, because obviously it was too far to come home. Not like I was thinking like.
Yeah.
But so I did all that in Kenya. I enjoyed Kenya. It was really good. It was red hot, and it was good. It was good. It was a canny time, to be honest with you. Like, but the jungle was horrendous. I thought, like, the jungle was 2 weeks in the jungle with kitten on the jungle floor, and that was rotten.
Aye. So if that was your best place, where was your worst?
Worst places. Can't really think of anywhere that was that bad, really, to be fair. Like, that's
No? That's canny, isn't it?
I know, I think everything, just exercise and stuff like that, like digging in. You know, you usually...
Digging in on Salisbury Plains a nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, aye, and that, some of the white stone, like the chalk and that stuff, you were digging in. Coming up with positions because this is horrendous, and they were like...
You know. Hey man, you know when you're just digging in your own garden and you hit a stone and you think, I'll just move it that way, or you're camping and you put it, the tent peg will not get in. You know what I mean? Imagine digging like that all the time.
Well, just exercise that. I didn't like exercises. Like, I used to think like boring, they were like repetitive. They were like you say, on the wagon, off the wagon.
Aye.
4 tonners, 7 tonners, and you'd be like, they were just a pain in the backside. We went up to Otterburn and did a nighttime drop at Otterburn, and they did us a long drive back on the coaches from Otterburn, and we stopped at Washington. I'll never forget it. They stopped at Washington Services, and I rang our lass. I went to our lass. We're at Washington Services. I'm going to ask if I can. I'm going to ask if I went to run inside and use the paying phone. I'm going to ask if I can like leave from here and that, like, you know, like from like a few of us were like all like northern lads, and we're all like all at the foot and saying, "Shall we see if we can ask if we can get dropped off here, safe coming back?" And they wouldn't, because of the weapons and that. They said, no, your weapons and that. They wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't dream of it. We were gutted because I was at Washington Services. I was like, and I'd drive all the way down to on the coaches, been exercise for a week or something, and I'd drive all the way down to Aldershot, get your kit unpacked, get everything sorted, get your weapons handed in, and then they stood us down, and I'd drive all the way back home. Like,
I went on exercise in Germany with 3 LI. I was 1 LI, and we flew back to Newcastle Airport, and I says, "Can I go home?" And the guy's, "No, I've got to go back." Like, so I went on a coach to Blackpool, Kirkham Barracks, Wheaton Barracks, all the way down. They might have stay on the coach and then just drive back. Like, that's how, you know, I didn't have to hand out in or anything. I just had to get on the coach and then drive straight back.
We had weapons and that, so we like, we knew. I mean, we had mates on the buses who said, "I'll sort you up now for your training, you know, pour it away for you," you know, but they wouldn't have it there with the staff who were saying no.
Yeah, it's it. You know, it's horrible, isn't it?
It's 5 or 6 hours on the coach going out with there, and then we had a couple of hours on the camp, whatever, 2 or 3 hours, then we had to drive back.
That sticks in my mind, like because I always think they just did that on purpose. You know what I mean? Just being awkward.
But getting out of the camp, going to like Kenya, Northern Ireland, places like that, I thought like was great to get away, like just to get out. You know, like D and stuff.
It's exciting, isn't it? I liked Ireland. I enjoyed it. When I was in Berlin. So in Ireland, you had loads of money and nowhere to spend it. And then in Berlin, I had no money and everywhere to spend it. You know, so it was torture. You know, both ways. Like you went off again. Yeah, you are.
What's that? This?
Just get it. Must have been on a thing. You must need to touch it. You know, like when you screen on your iPhone.
Oh, right. The guns off.
So leaving. When did you leave?
I left in 92, and I joined Four Para.
Aye.
I joined Four Para for about a year or so. Like I only went there a few times. Like, but I went to Four Para. But obviously having kids and that, like it's hard. And that, you know, having young ones and that, and so I didn't stay with Four Para. Like I was just sort of like.
Yeah, it's different in it. Where you know you've got your own commitments at home.
You have, haven't you? It was great. I mean, I went there. Like I did a few things there, like the Four Para, but didn't do any jumps with them and nothing like that. Like.
So, what made you fancy being a paramedic then?
I just basically. Well, to be fair, I had no interest in first aid, even in the army. I had no interest at all. Like I did battlefield first aid, you know, all the battlefield stuff, like combat medics.
I did that.
I had to have it. We had to like give morphine and write M on the head and the time for morphine and everything. And so we did all that, all the battlefield stuff and everything. But I had no interest in it. I was getting told, but I was thinking, I don't want to be a medic. So when I came out, it was by fluke, to be honest with you. I was at Nissan at the time, and I decided I was looking for another job. I thought, no, I want to get out of a factory job, and I want to do something different, like a driving, just something, get out and about on the road and do something different. So I seen an ambulance. Oh, my mate's dad was a porter in the hospital, and he says, "Oh, Tommy, when there's a portman job's coming up." He says, "Proof for portman." He says, "You love it." And I was like, "Oh," I says, he says, "You have to do it online." So I went on the NHS website. I looked for a portman job, and there wasn't any. It was the ambulance service, ambulance driver. It says like a PTS, and it said you didn't have to have any medical experience, nothing like that. It said if you want to, if you want to a career in the ambulance service, you can progress on. So I joined the ambulance service on PTS, on the patient transport. I need qualification for it or nothing, and I just worked my way up from there. Really, just did like a few years on different levels, different tiers.
Do you like
moved on to the action emergency, onto the emergency side of it and everything. And yeah, it's good. It's a good job. It's a doddle. It's not like what. I don't know how to put it. It's not like all nasty and what I mean, and the salts and all that. You all that stuff all the time. That's never like that, really. To be fair, you do get the odd bits and pieces. I've been like attacked and stuff like that, but not like it's not really something what you're going to work every day and see it. It's very. I think you're having a shit day. Like if you're getting attacked all the time, you're doing something. You know what I mean?
Well, this is it, because I can never understand, because sometimes you can understand the police getting attacked, but I never understand why ambulance men or firemen, it's in the news at the minute, up downhill kids attacking fire crews and that. I do not understand what the crack is.
I don't think it happens to kid regularly. Like, I don't think it might be right across the northeast. You might get one or two popping up, but it's not like it's like a big thing. I wouldn't have thought. Like, I mean, the ambulance service might say different, I suppose, because they might have all the stats.
I'll just turn this phone off, mate. Do you want to talk about all the great stuff you've done for veterans in Sunderland? Because I mean, the Veterans Walk, for instance. Do you want to talk about that? Or do you want to talk about? I mean, it's up to you. But do you want to talk about how you got involved in all this kind of charity work and stuff like that?
Right. Well, basically, as you know, when Nathan died, he was 19. He got killed in Afghanistan in 2008. He was with 2 Para. didn't know he wanted to join the army. Some of them got, we didn't have a club, you know, that's good, but he just walked in and said, I'm going to join the army. And we were like, all right. And off he went to the Foundation College at Harrogate. And he joined 16, 17 or something, maybe he's in the kids, like the juniors. And went there, and then he went into two para. And the sort of engineers he was in did the explosives and all that, you know, for getting entry in place and stuff like that. He did all that, and then he was killed. He got killed with another two of his mates who were similar age, Dan Gamble and oh, my mind's gone blank, man. Dan and David Murray and David Murray. And the three of them got killed in a bombing explosion. And when he came back, when he got repatriated back, should I say, we were just obviously, you know, like inconsolable and didn't know what thing we had. And the MOD wanted the council wanted to bury him in a the MOD wanted to bury him in a civilian plot. And I says, no, he's been killed in combat. And they were like, oh no, he needs to kind of in like a civilian grave and that. So we started off when he was first killed of just like battles with things like that. That was the first battle, was getting them buried in a military plot. The MOD agreed in the end, had to come away to the War Graves Commission and find out. They came back and said that my visiting officer, who was attached to us at the time, said, "Oh, the cemetery's full." You know, in the War Graves, and the land's owned by the War Graves Commission. It's only for World War I and World War II people that's been killed. And I went, listen, I said, my son's just died for the country. In battle. I went, you're trying to tell us how he has to be buried in a civilian plot when he's give his life for it. And they went there, and they were, long story short, the MOD came back and went there. The War Graves had said yes. So Nathan's buried next to somebody that was 19 from 1945. And I think, I don't know whether he's the first or one of the first to get put in a War Graves plot. So his stone gets looked after every year, you know, and rightly so. I mean, that's long gone. At least his headstone's going to be there for, you know. Anyway, so like I said, it started off like a load of my mind racing. I was thinking, oh Lord, we're getting off fairly here. This was the start of it, and I thought, and so we won that battle, and he got put in a military plot, and then we got letters, thank yous off, you know, off Prince Charles, because Prince Charles was the Colonel Chief of the Paras, and we got thank yous off all the, you know, government ministers and stuff like that. It was nice, like, it was lovely to think me, but I said, so last went, you know, one thing that gets me, I says, all the care homes going to, there's nothing, when you reach 100, in all the care homes, everybody that reaches 100 gets a card off the Queen, a signed card, congratulations and all that. I said, well, Nathan's died for Queen and country. And to think that our Queen's never recognised his death, never like, thank you, or, because he swore on the oath of allegiance like you did, I did. And our last went, oh, I says, when I was a kid, I went to the Queen's office and signed for on the oath of allegiance. So anyway, we got invited down to number 10 Down Street with Sharon Hodgson, the MP, for the first Sunderland Armed Forces Day, which was taking place. This was 10 years ago, something like this. It was the very first Armed Forces Day, and number 10, we got invited down. Me and our last went down, and Gordon Brown was there, and he says, Tommy says, is there anything that you think that you would do different to me as a Prime Minister? What you think we would do different for our forces and stuff? I says, well, to be honest with you, I says, you know, I signed as a young boy and swore for oath of allegiance to the Queen. I says, not to you, not to any Prime Minister, you know, not to being disrespectful. I says, but really, I says, it wouldn't bring our Nathan back, it wouldn't help. I says, the Queen should recognise all these young lads getting slaughtered. I says, and, you know, you're getting a thank you off wherever. some MP, and that. I said, well, it's not on really. I said, the Queen should be recognised, and he went, leave that with me. He said, I'm going to get something. He's a meeting in Majesty next week. He went, leave that with us. And the following year, they brought out the Queen's Medal. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The Queen's Medal, what people wear now.
Right.
It's not a medal. It's not a ribbon. What you'd wear on with your medals, what you've earned. It's a badge, like a brooch. The women get a big brooch, and the men get a smaller one for the suit. And it's got the name, rank, number on the back. It looks like the George Cross.
All right.
But it's called the Elizabeth Cross. It's the Elizabeth Cross. So all the families now get the Elizabeth Cross, a medal, Elizabeth Cross medal. And nobody's actually said it's come from us, but it's putting two and two together.
Yeah. I mean, that's a massive thing you'd be proud of for that.
So I don't know whether it came directly from us, but it's something where I mentioned to Gordon Brown. I said, every time I walk in a care home, these people are reaching 100. Magnificent, these old people that are reaching this milestone. And I says, it's a massive achievement. I went, and the Queen gives her a nice card. I said, but we didn't get any recognition. And bear in mind, though, Nathan was 19. He wasn't married. He didn't have any children. He lived at home with his mum and dad, and compensation-wise, nothing. Didn't get any compensation. If he'd been married, if he'd had children, his wife would have gotten a nice big pension. This, that, and the other. We just felt everything was like we had to fight for everything, and that we still to this day we didn't get any compensation off the MOD. But it's, like, to me, his death wasn't about the money; it was just getting recognised, and we were having to and then getting onto the charity stuff. We did. I went down every year. I used to do the Remembering Sunday parades and stuff, and I used to look at the cenotaph and think, how come there's only like World War I and World War II recognised? What's happened with all other conflicts? And when I was a kid, I used to look at the stones on the cenotaph and think, we should really be recognising other conflicts, really. And then my mate knocked on the door. He was an ex-para, Andy Harrison. He's got the Flanders at pub in Seaham.
In Seaham.
I see him, Flanders. He's got that. He was saying, Tom, enough that we're doing a memorial. And some sort of getting, and I went, this is something what I'm thinking about, but obviously not anywhere. He sort of it wasn't something I had the forefront of my mind, but Andy sort of opened it up again for us, if you like. And anywhere I ended up getting all the families together. Jan Tench, Janice Mary, Janice Proctor, sorry. Got Jan, Anthony Hunt, Rod's mum and dad, Brenda. There was Linda Fiskin or Tony Evans from Hendon, the Marine. Linda Fiskin, that's his aunt, and got a few families together to build a memorial. And I think a few of them wanted a soldier shooting out at Seaburn or something like that. And I was, saying, I says, why don't we not do something around the cenotaph? Someone's got the biggest armed forces parade outside of London. I says, it would be great to have something around the cenotaph where the parade is, where the parade takes place. And we got architects involved. I mean, it went on for a couple of years. This we'll raise a hell of a lot of money, hundreds of thousands, and did the Brothers in Arms wall down at Mowbray Park. Did the big memorial wall, and which people can see to this day now. They can go down with the kids and have a look, and it recognises every conflict since the Second World War. Because, like I say, the main cenotaph just represents the two great wars, and the Brothers in Arms wall, which we got built, represents from Palestine, 1945. There's Palestine all the way around to current day. And we can get conflicts on the other side of the wall as well now, which I'm in talks with the council. I was last year about getting Syria and that on the back, because where the British troops, like the SAS, have been involved in Syria and places like that. So we're thinking about getting something with Syria on the back of the wall. because it was on the news all last year about the SAS in there, and they were bringing in target reconnaissance missions and everything, and so we're looking at doing that on the other side. But we've got like a training panel as well for training, people who've died in training. So the war is not just about death in fighting, but also in training, because we recognise that people like Sir Anthony Huntrod got killed in a submarine accident, got blew up by one of the shells inside the submarine in a pressured container. It exploded. I don't know the full stories behind it all, but I don't want to speak too much about it. But he, in a nutshell, he got killed in a submarine accident, so he wasn't in conflict. So hence why his man came on board, and so we did a training panel. So if you have a look at the training wall, it's actually full of engraved another training panel on the other side of the wall in the park, on the far end, on the opposite end. It's, so there's a continuation. So there must be about 20 odd lads' names on that training panel.
No, I've never even noticed it. Never noticed it on the back. No. We're there all the time. I've never noticed it on the back.
So if you start at the beginning of the wall, the first panel, it's got the training panel, and the last names on the bottom, it's full, and you have to go to the other side and into the park, and you can see this is a continuation of and it's all the names on it. And then we're going to start with Severe and that, and then start the next conflicts and stuff.
So, and now you've got the Veterans Walk as well.
In the Veterans Walk, when we were fundraising for the Brothers in Arms Wall and that, and we reached the target and we had everything was all getting done. I asked the council if we could do the bricks and the path. I said, I fancy doing something for veterans like ourselves. I might be still alive, but it doesn't mean I haven't served, or I know I've got medals and whatever, but it doesn't mean I want to. Everybody should be getting some recognition, like permanent. And the council were like, all right, Tom, come back in a couple of years when we get the wall built, and then we'll have a look at it. And so that was in my mind. It was about 4 years later. I was like, it was killing us. I was thinking like, so we got the wall all up done in 2011. We got the wall built. In 2015, I went and had a meeting with the council. I went and had a few meetings with them, and I said, look, this is, I want to do the bricks and everything, and so I give them an idea where I wanted and stuff. And that's a good idea if you think it'll work and stuff. So I got my mate Rob Davison, who's he's like a business management thing. He does all the bookings, everything. He manages it all for us. He does everything. He's just. I think a lot of people think it's easy. I think a lot of people think he's selling away, but he's without him, like I couldn't have done it, because he's been like he's the brains behind it all, business management and running it properly and getting all the booking system right and the internet, and he does everything. So he's been phenomenal, to be honest with you. Like, but we've done well. I think we've got about 700 stones now. About 700 on this next phase. It's going to be at the halfway point of the gate. We've got planning permission to go all the way around. But there's lots involved in it. Like, people think it's a quick. It's a thing. But these is like 2-inch thick, heavy, solid slabs. They're not tiles. They're not little slip tiles. We went to Grasmere in the Lake District, me and Olas, and then in the cemetery in Grasmere, they've sold little thin Northumbrian tiles, little slate. Wordsworth, William Wordsworth, the poet. They've made a path in the cemetery in the lakes, and they've sold 2,000 little tiles. They're engraved, they're lovely, but they're engraved, and they're I think somebody said it was 280 quid for a little tile, and they're cemented in. They're just like on a footpath. And you can Google have a look at it, they're lovely, but they were 280 quid. But when I did mine, and I thought, these is the council stipulated they had to be able to withstand vehicles, wagons from the park, because there's wagons that come in the park, when they have festivals, music, there's big trucks driving. The stone's got to be at least 15 mil thick. It's got to be out withstanding vehicle traffic. So it was all to do with the founds that to be done right. They couldn't be just cemented on top of the, you know what I mean? That to be dug out and everything. So there's closed into the park, and the stones with them being granite to withstand the vehicle. The sandblasting, I've had to get the stone, so everybody's crest on the cap badge is intricate sandblast detail. So all your military records is all like engraved on this, like sandblasted, on this stone. Well, they're lovely. They're 250 quid, but they're I donated to 3 charities. I mean, it's not a great amount, but we've given like thousands off the path so far to 3 charities. But a lot of it comes into logistics. They're running it to buying the stone, shipping. To get 1 stone shipped, it's 38 quid. In the post. Just to, that's not the buy of the stone. That's just the actual shipping cost is 38 quid for a stone.
I wouldn't want to be the postman. I wouldn't want to be the postman trying to get through your letterbox.
To be fair, like I wouldn't buy one like a single one. To buy 1 stone wouldn't be, the weight and everything. I buy a few together, and so you're not. But it is, but people think like 250 quid. You think, well, hold on, I wonder if it's Death in the Sun and Echo was 180 quid, for one night's, to put his advert in it. Well, that was the price. 180 quid for a put it was picture on it, and you think, oh, man, it's, what I mean? For
hopefully they'll last forever.
And they're down for life, Joe. It's a one-off payment, down for life. They're solid. They're never going to come out. There's even the jointing that we've used on the granite is expensive. It's £40 or something for a daft little tin, and it only does so many stones. But it's called what's it called again? Something given with tea. But it's expensive jointing, so they're proper cemented in, proper it's not normal cement. It's proper like bell metal, same as the granite. But
well, if you want to advertise it, email us any kind of links where people can buy them, and we'll put them on the on this podcast.
Brilliant! I'll do that.
Right, I want to thank you for coming on, mate. And I know you're busy, and I know you struggled with the IT to start with, but it's been spot on. I hope it's been all right for you.
Oh, it's been good, mate. I've enjoyed chatting to you. It's been really good.
Nice one. And I want to invite you out to the ERV. Come and have a look around, It's only in Walker. Come and have a look around.
I'll come and when we're fundraising off the off the stones, we change the charities around a bit, so we're not.
All right.
We've been given the Sunderland Armed Forces Network with Graham Hall for a couple of years. He's had umpteen donations off them, but we'll do the same with you. We'll drop you a check in that. And
cheers, because we're trying to buy this building, and I'm 90 grand short at the minute. So if you get 90 grand spare,
we'll check off tonight.
Right, lovely speaking to you, Tom. Cheers, man.
Same with you, Jerry. You take care, mate. Cheers.
You as well. Thanks, man.
Yeah.